Hello, welcome back to Falcon Blues TV, your filthy animals. Now, before we get started, there is a link in the description. We are doing I was going to say the Goodison Sleep Out again then, but it's the Hill Dickinson one. So it's the Sleep Out for everyone in the community. It's to raise money for the homeless and everyone in the community. Now, I've done them twice with Goodison. They were pretty cold, but this one's going to be a lot colder. So if you can help out, great. If you can't, just share the page. But we are here joined today with a very special guest, making his to my count, his fourth appearance on the show. My elder brother, John. John, thanks for coming on, mate.
Cheers, Colin Chong. I beat you. Yeah. Are you running out of budget because all these superstars, like all your actors, and you end up stuck with me? But no, cheers.
Well, yeah, this is, to my recollection, this is the third Merseyside derby preview, and you did make a brief cameo in the video with Jimmy White, which everyone really enjoyed, and everyone kept asking, how did you get Jimmy White in the Falcon? Well, that was down to this man here. And so obviously, sorry.
No, that was a good one, not to be fair. He really enjoyed being in Kirby. He said it was
yeah.
He said some things that I couldn't really repeat on here, but in a positive manner, just about like being brought up a certain way. But it was sound that anyway.
Yeah, good stuff. So, as you might have noticed, I'm on the bus on the way to work because this is the Working Man's Everton podcast. But obviously, we're here to talk about the Merseyside derby, which is coming up on Saturday at 12:30. And John, the first question which gets asked to me quite a lot is, since pretty much all of my family are Everton fans, why are you a Liverpool fan, John?
I got the brains of the family. Or what was my dad said, I fell down the stairs or I was adopted and all the rest
of it. On your head.
Yeah, but no, it's not a number of reasons. Basically, because I was the eldest and got told to say Liverpool as a kid, and that wound my dad and our Joe up. And thankfully it stuck with me because I've seen a few more derby wins than you will say.
Yeah, a couple you'd have, yeah. I've seen a few as well, but I didn't have the best record when I was younger. Well, I didn't have the best record when I started going the match. Throughout the 90s, I thought Everton, the Dogs of War, had a pretty good record in the Merseyside derby. And I've spoken to a few of those players who were in that team, and they all said the same tactic from Joe Royal or whoever, just kick McManaman. That was the main goal, really.
To be fair, though, then in them days, Everton had a bit of an identity about them, and then it disappeared with the likes of, like, listen, some of you will say, like, Benitez, we should never have went there, let's be fair. But I thought Lampard was more of a bother because considering the money he spent. But anyway, that's backwards. And now, like what Moyes is doing, you got to give him credit. He's getting a tune out of them, and some of the signings he's have made. Like I said, Juice Briol was a great signing. Listen, everyone's mentioning Grealish, and when he got in, Blues my end. Asked what I thought, and I said that's a dangerous signing. That he's got a point. Not dangerous as a bad signing, but dangerous in that he's got a point to prove. And it's obvious that he's trying to prove a point now. And people are saying, like, obviously, I went to the new ground at the weekend, which I'm no doubt you'll come to. But I was asked by some of my mates at home what do we think, like, will he stay? And I can't see him going leaving to another English club at the end of the loan deal. He might go overseas, but why would he? He'll have a team built around him. He'll be allowed to play, and let's be fair, he's playing in a great stadium and he doesn't need the money. So I think he's playing with a smile on his face now and he's allowed to express himself. So I think he'd be daft to go, and I think he'll stay. And he's probably one of the main dangers the weekend to us for obvious reasons. But watching the game on Saturday, I thought if anything, he needs to be a bit more selfish in that second half. He's had a really good chance where he could have went for either side of goal, and he's looked at assist again. And I think that's where Guardiola sort of took pretty lot out of his game. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, he's a good player, but then it's no surprise.
Yeah, no, I agree. Evertonians already love him. He's got 4 assists, and he's been unlucky not to get a couple of goals as well. But you did mention you've visited the Bramley Motorcycle. I don't call it the Hill Dickinson, but what was your overall thoughts on the Everton's new ground, John?
Well, I tried as much as I could to find fault. Because when I was going in, we got dropped off and it was a hell of a walk down. They closed the roads far too early. and got in there and went in there with an area where you got free ale and thought, listen, if I'm going in, I'm going to enjoy myself, get myself slaughtered. I thought it was getting stripped down by lightning, but it didn't. But anyway, when you got in there, and anyone who says it's not impressive is just totally biased, because I mean, it is a new build, so it should be impressive, but you'd expect Everton to screw it up one way or the other, but they haven't. So the only thing I think was maybe they could have put a roof on, but the only thing with putting the roof on is that would cost more money, and really speaking, you need the money for players. So aside from that, I think it's a fantastic stadium, and I think of the new builds, it's still not as good as Anfield, of course, obviously, but of the new builds, I think there's only Tottenham's
Well, that's,
better facilities, because of they've got you can change the pitch to for concerts and for American football. But aside from that, it's really good, and it was. I was quite surprised there's not many boos apart from against Digne for some reason, which I spoke to you about. I didn't get it, but maybe it was just trying to put him off. I don't know.
yeah.
I thought it's a bit strange. But I'd imagine come a derby game or a really big game, that the way it's built, I think it'll still make a hell of a noise the way Goodison used to.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's been no. People were worried about the atmosphere, but from what I've seen from where I'm sitting, it sounds great, the acoustics and everything. And I think it recorded, it was in the top 5 of the loudest, however they record sound, it was one of the loudest in Europe, basically. But did you sit in the east, or was it the east or the west stand you sat in?
I was facing the tunnel. So whatever side that was, basically it was on the halfway line facing where they come out. So I don't know whether it was west or east. It was just when you're walking into the stadium.
Would this say was it were you in the corporate seats?
I was in a Trinity restaurant, I think it was in. So it wasn't corporate as such, but it was
right. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did they give you to eat?
I just got, me being like fancy, I just got fish and chips, because all the rest, there was duck and all sorts of like fancy shit. But nah, just give me fish and chips. I was going to ask for tomato sauce, but I knew it come blue, so I thought, nah, I'll swerve that. You're all right.
It's just complete, yeah.
Blue sauce.
It's just complete, yeah. And what would you rate it on overall? The hospitality, the drinks, whatnot, all good.
It was brilliant, if anything, and like what I said to Lisa, was in there with, and Michaela, was, if anything, you didn't know you were in a football stadium until you went out to the actual area. In that, when you went out, then obviously you go into your seats, but the actual room, I mean, you couldn't fault it. Obviously, it's new, and they even had like toilets what you could go to, which is not really the norm for a football ground, unless you're in the fancy seats. But listen, at the end of the day, it was something I'm glad I've ticked off the box, and I'm glad it wasn't a derby game, because I'd have probably seen it a bit later, a bit differently. But the game on Saturday, that referee was awful, and I know you're going to mention, and it could bite me in the arse, but I'm going to say it anyway. But like I mentioned, Grealish being a good sign, and Dewsbury Hall, I think, is a great sign. I think that in you'll do well to keep hold of him. Obviously, Pickford, he is what he is. He always seems to raise his game to Liverpool, but he's a good keeper, to be fair. Tarkovsky, I couldn't believe how big that Jake O'Brien is. I don't think he'll end up being a fullback. He'll move into the middle.
No, definitely.
But that Beto, I'm not being funny. I'm better than Beto over here. I'll be more dangerous for Everton over here in the Philippines with no boots on, too old and too heavy. He's useless. And I know you think he works hard, and I get all that. And I suppose in some ways it's all well and good, like working and being the target man. But you've got to be able to kick the ball straight, and he can't. Yeah, you know what? He'll probably score an overhead kick now at the weekend, or score a win and make
keep slagging him off. Yeah, keep telling his face.
I've set my stall out now. I'm not going to reverse it, but he's dog shit. He really, I don't know how he can call himself a footballer. And I've seen some bad forwards, whether it's for Liverpool or whatever.
Right. I'll say he has got a bad touch, and he's not finished the article, but he did score with us last season against Liverpool, and he was really unlucky at the game at Anfield, where he hit the post, and then he had a goal this last, and so he is a bit of a menace, and he's very raw.
you're not going to change my mind. It's dog shit, and I'm sticking with it. Actually, no, dog shit's useful. You can put that on your garden now.
I want you to keep tempting fate.
Well, my
Yeah,
store's
I just want you to keep fate because you know he's gonna do something now. Yeah,
He probably will, yeah.
but obviously we do have that. What time is it over in your world?
You're cutting out a little bit there, but I got you. We're 7 hours ahead here at the minute, so the match at the weekend will be 7:30 kickoff in the night for me, which a lot of people will be thinking, oh, that's great, but it's not, because all the wankers from the afternoon will be bladdered, and then the part-time football fans will go out to watch an early game. Now, to be fair, I'm more related to when it's like a Liverpool Man U game, because the Everton fans over here are all right. And the ones who are, most of them are from our neck of the woods anyway, so you can have a decent chat with them. But if it was been a Liverpool Man U game, I'd have probably watched it at home, because you'd have all the past, no, I can't say part-time fans on the halfway down the world, but the unknowledgeable fans, the ones who just regurgitate some shite what some shitty pundits say. So it's a good time to, well, like last night's game's obviously the European game last night. That was 3 o'clock in the morning for me. Now, I'd normally go out and watch them, but I only got back into the country my end early, or late. The day I went commute some days on Tuesday, so I'm getting back into time zone. But the game on Saturday is 7:30 in the evening for me, so I'll go out about 5 and then watch the 3 o'clock, because we all the games in Asia, every game's shown, so whatever's on at 3 o'clock I can watch, and if there's a 5 game I'll watch that as well. So come the end of the day, which will be the early hours of Sunday for me, I'll either be blazzers happy or bladdered gutted. And I know I listened to, obviously we're chatting with Paul McGann the other day, and both of you saying a draw. I hate it when it's a draw, because it's like losing. I get the same amount of stick for a draw than we do when we get beat. So draws, I don't want to draw. I don't want to say I'd rather get beat than draw, but in some ways you get the same amount of stick. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Now, obviously, Liverpool's form is, I think it's 5 wins in 5. A lot of the wins have come very from
Oh, you've cut right out there. The thing you said, the thing you're trying to say, I think you were trying to say a lot of the wins have came late. Well, most of them have it, apart from Arsenal. And
is it Liverpool mentality?
I think it's mentality, I really do. I think it's like, I think, listen, we've not been playing very well as such. Although last night, we started really well, but then conceded stupidly late on in the first half, and then even when they equalised at 2-2, I just thought if it would have been out in the air, I'd have been straight on the betting side putting us to win, because they just don't give up, which is a sign of a good team. So I think half of our problem has been the amount of players we've brought in the one goal and trying to basically bed them in, which always takes time. I couldn't believe Arsenal's mentality when they come to Anfield, when we've been conceding and they sat back. But that's Arteta. He's nervous when he comes up to Anfield, and he sets himself up not to lose rather than to try and win. And in some ways, I think Moyes will do the same. Because right now, if Everton want a positive result, you've got to come at us, because if they don't, at the end of the day, we've got more dangerous players. So in theory, if they sit back, you're just inviting a storm.
No, I think Moyes, especially for the first 20, 30 minutes, I think he will try and sit back and quiet the crowd down and just frustrate Liverpool. But I do think now that you've mentioned the danger men like Duke, all Jack, and Zai, they're going to try and catch Liverpool on the counter. Then, as we've seen, there is some defensive errors that they can exploit. Now, who would you say is the biggest danger man for Liverpool against Everton? So obviously you've got the new striker in CK, you've got Isaac, Waits.
It's Salah, and I was thinking of Tony last night when Salah said, well, he takes the free kick. I'm not going to call it an assist, but then he scores a really good goal. And in fairness, he should have got one in the second half, which is like quite unlucky, to be fair, when he's at the post. And he's had a quiet start of the season, but you just know if it falls to him in a derby game, he's going to put the ball away. So I'm still saying Salah. I think Isaac will start. I think he'll do what he done with him last night. He'll get an hour out of him. As to which is, I understand why, because you've got to get minutes under your belt. But at the top of the ground running, so I wouldn't be surprised to either. But I think he'll start with Isaac. And then,
do you think that'll be a bit harsh on NCK though, because he started the season really well?
Yeah, well, I think if he'd knew what the way obviously the transfers went, I don't think he'd went to Liverpool, because he knows, rightfully or wrongfully, he knows he's going to be, or he mightn't know, but he's going to be second choice to Isaac. But when we're playing so many games, I think they're all going to get minutes, and I think now, if you want to compete on all levels, which if we're spending that amount of money, which still surprises me, you've got to have two players in every position, because of the season being so long. Like effectively, we could go up to 70 games this season. So there's enough games to play. And if, for instance, it's me and I'm starting one game and coming on sub the next, but I'm playing every game, I'd be quite happy with that if I'm potentially winning a league or winning going deep in Europe. So I think people have got to realise now it's more of a squad game than it used to be.
Of course, yeah, of course. Now, Dan, we do have to come to predictions. Now, I've already gave my predictions to got through, and we've both agreed it'll be a draw. I'm going to say 1-1. What about yourself?
I'm not going to say draw, because at home, I mean, I might have said a draw away from home, but I can't say a draw at home with the champions, and we've got a really good record against the champions. I was going to say 3-0, but we are conceding goals and stupid goals. So I'll say 3-1. And I don't hope Everton score first, but if they do, it'll be more open. Because if Liverpool start the game like they did last night, and you've got two in the first 6 minutes, it could be a cricket score, because then Everton will have to come out. And if they do come out, we've got so much pace and now I'm surprised how we've become a tall team or a big team. So in theory, we should be more dangerous set pieces than we have done in recent years. So I know I'll say 3-1. I'll give you a goal, but it won't be better unless it hits him in the arse or something. He probably will now, and if he scores the winner, you've got every right to call me back, and I'll eat the biggest slice of humble pie. I've had to do it before when I said it on Talksport that we were going to stuff years, and we got beaten the cup. That was the famous one where the goal was missed because TikTok came on. But I had to go on the next day and eat humble pie. And I think Moyes was in charge then, if I recall right.
He would. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So
you got the FA Cup final, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, I know you've knocked us out. I know that much. I don't know how far I went, but yeah, I'll still say 3-1 anyway. And if for your boys, I'd say it'll be Ndiaye scoring, or maybe Tarko. Well, maybe Tarko off a corner or something, because at the end of the day, he knows where the goal is against Liverpool. Even though he's a Man U. Even though he's a Man U.
No problem to me, man. So before we go, John, what was the first ever Merseyside derby you attended? Do you remember?
I don't. And you know what you should do really? You caught me on the hop there. So it might have been Goodison. I don't know if my dad and Joe brought me one when I was really young.
Right, okay. Well, that's the last thing.
I'll come on when I come on for the 5th time. Hopefully not on Monday or on Sunday after being beaten by a better overhead kick. I'll remember the answer by then. I can't think. Actually, do you know what it might be? And this is not taking the piss. It might be in the '89 final. If it went down to that.
Really?
Yeah. That was the.
That when Stuart McCall scored twice.
What?
Was that when Stuart McCall scored twice?
Well, not well. No,
Um, 2 goals.
Ian Rush scored twice. Ian Rush scored twice.
He scored for Everton. Was it not 3-2? Was it not 3-2 and Stuart McCall scored twice for Everton?
I didn't think Stuart McCall was that old. It was 3-2 and Southall had a blinder, to be fair. I didn't know McCall was that old.
Let us know in the comments, viewers. Yeah. Quite better, like. But let us know in the comments. I'm nearly at work, so I'm going to have to go. But thanks very much for that, John. And we'll see you for your 5th appearance very soon. But thanks for coming on. I know it's a different time of the world for you. So, I'll speak to you soon.
You're going to work. I'm just finishing work. I'm going out on that. I'm going to bed.
That was amazing, right? But, thanks for coming on. And as always, everyone, please like and subscribe. Fuck the fucking softies, Colin Chong.
Colin Chong.